Um, and welcome back, everyone. I do apologize for that short interruption. It seems like darker forces were at work than we are here at game. And gladly, we are back and running in this part 2 now, after we took a short break ourselves, to continue the adventure. When Charlotte, you just realized both of them pop gone, you started to walk now to the east of town, moving through the town square, being danced with, played with, in a sense of children approaching you, but then also men kind of starting to dance due to, with the music. And you exit on the other side, just a couple of blocks away from, or houses away from, the Haggerty home that you've been earlier. And it's just a slight uphill street, and that's where you see your two other chums loudly arguing, which seems to be a heated conversation. And yeah, what do you want to do?
I just gingerly approach and stand next to them till they finished. I'm not interrupting them. I think they need to let out some steam, and I will give them the chance to do that.
Before we come back to what that steam is, Aiden, you step back into the underbrush in the forest as this man appeared out of nowhere holding a briefcase. He looks completely black. And you know he's looking at you, but you don't see any eyes, any reflection or anything. You just feel his presence. And his presence feels... Roll for occult. Yikes. You and the forest are not friends. Like the most evil force you've ever felt. Like something so like as if... Wait. It's a black... It's a man dressed in black, making you... asking you to talk, making maybe a deal. It might be the devil himself. Well, all these religions, maybe, right? And as you stagger back, you just hear faintly, in the back of your head, "Don't trust him." No, Mr. Hamilton. Mr. Hamilton? Are you alright?
Yes. I will ask again, who are you?
Names are no matter. I think it's more about actions that matter truly in this world. Names are meaningless if you see the grand scheme of everything. And I believe that you do. I sense that there's more to this facade of a ladies' man who tries to prove himself. No, somebody else, right? You want to be... You are members in various organizations. You know secrecy as well. You know that power comes with information, and information is in what I deal. I can give, I can take, I can persuade information upon others. And I know you're too curious to just say no. Or am I wrong here, Mr. Hamilton? Don't trust him.
I'm not sure if you're right or wrong here, but what exactly do you want from me?
Nothing he offers is good. Go back to the others. Go back to them. Save them. I simply want to, let's say, make sure that we are on the same page here, as you've are aiming to go back to other places, and I just want to make sure that a certain common ground and understanding for how information is given from your side to the rest of the world.
This certainly depends on what you could offer.
I can offer immense values of knowledge, of powers. You can see him raising his hand, not the one with the briefcase, but he kind of points at your hand, at your right hand. Point to the ground.
Sorry, what?
Point to the ground.
I will do so.
Suddenly, out of the dead leaves and everything, rises up. You can see it barely, but a flower. It starts to grow, twine, and grow with a magical speed. And he looks at you and just snaps his finger, and the flower withers and disappears. I can give and I can take.
This is certainly a nice trick. But what exactly would this do for the Hamilton family?
Oh.
You said something about information. And to be
Indeed.
clear, we are not striving to be pawns of somebody.
Oh, pawns. I hate to use the word pawns. It's demeaningful to those involved. No, I understand, and obviously your heritage, your line, your grandfather per se was a great admirer of mine, and we had a good past so far.
And how would you know my grandfather?
I think it's not my right to say how we met and what we did, what we've done, but I'll give you a couple of ideas. And he gives you a couple of family memories that, only you and your grandfather, maybe your grandmother would know. And he kind of just rattles them down like he was there with you.
From what perspective are these memories?
Well, he explains them as he was with you at these seminars.
All right.
But you don't really remember anybody with you.
Shouldn't I have noticed you when you were with us at this time?
Oh, I can be wanted to be seen, and I can be wanted to disappear into the shadows, where I just sit back and observe. Don't listen to him. His mind is rotten. His tricks are awful, and he wants to use you. Come back, help your friends.
Can I somehow tell what this voice, like, is it a voice I recognize, or is it even a voice per se?
You can roll intelligence. Yeah, intelligence. That's probably the best. Wow, forests are really not your thing, but you can spend luck on that if you want.
Yes, I would like to.
It seems to be a voice, but not only one voice, and it also doesn't seem to be... Yeah, it doesn't seem to be one voice at all. It seems to be a cacophony of many voices. that just you interpret as one voice in your head. And it seems scared.
And what are you to this town exactly?
I'm just admirer, an observer, a curious mind of those who live within.
All right. 2 questions then. I think I will be able to make a decision. Pending. Would you let me go unharmed if I say no?
Yes.
And would I be chained to this town, to you, anything or anyone else? If I say yes, in any matter?
Well, they are certainly I would expect something in return. I mean, of course, I will not give these gifts out for free. I do expect something in return. Not particular about this town, if you don't want to. But I can see ideas springing up in Boston. Cities are expanding. So many people, so many lost minds, and so many lost souls that don't know where to go, that just wander. And they need a guide, and I think you would work just fine for that.
I think with this future, we could find common ground.
Oh, we can?
And Aiden would approach a few steps, but not too close.
Give me a power roll. Okay. You know, it's almost like you're being stopped by kind of nettles or underbrush, by twigs and leaves that kind of pull you a bit back as you move forward. And this noise in your head, do not go in a deal with him, do not trust him, do not make a deal, help your friends, help and save them.
Is your doing?
Is what?
What are these voices in my head?
You hear
There's
voices.
too many of them, and
Do not be fret by these. They are confusing things. They are something that you will not hear if you agree upon my gifts. You will be beyond them. You will be able to control them, to guide them, to manipulate them to your bidding, to your will.
then as a goodwill for our future partnership, would you tell me exactly what these voices are?
I will tell you.
It's information, and
I will tell you if I know that you will join me. No information is free. Everything comes with a price.
I would say a step for a step. I will come with you and hear the full story when you tell me what you know about these voices.
Step
And
by step.
when I come with you, Yep.
You can see him kind of just sidestepping a bit and kind of... It's still dark, right? It's almost like you imagining these shadow forms, the phantom limbs that you move around if you're in a pitch black darkness, the tricks of the eyes. But you can see him sidestepping, kind of gesturing. Please, let me bring you somewhere more comfortable.
So, where are these voices coming from?
And you start to walk. They're coming from an old friend of mine that is a bit angry of that deal that he struck with me after, well, disobeying.
When he started talking, Aiden would have also started walking to where he was gesturing.
Okay. And you walk with this man in a black suit into the dark forest and start to disappear from what we know, this part of the forest. We'll come back to you. But for now, we're gonna switch to the other three, as Levi and Jordan have excelled in their, bickering.
Are you guys done?
What do you mean, are we done? We're being held prisoners, apparently. This is hardly a thing you just get over.
Yeah, but I mean, being angry about this is not gonna help us. We just need to be, I don't know, keep a clear head, I suppose.
So,
And like I said, I think, we saw the sheriff leave, right? Like the sheriff and his deputy, they left. So clearly people can leave from here. So we just
need to figure out
maybe
how.
they don't trust us yet. Yeah, maybe they don't trust us yet. So I don't know. They're doing whatever they're doing, and so we just need to play along.
right. You're saying we should take the sheriff hostage? Is that what you mean?
I love that
I'm
combination
starting to
of
find-
thought.
I find myself
Not
agreeing with Mr.
entirely.
Baker.
Oh, no. Oh,
Oh, times are really dire.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to stop you. Do what you do, but I want to get out of here, and I don't want to experience people messing with my head again, because that's... I'd rather stay here on my own will, or being imprisoned here, than being mind-washed into staying here. So I'd rather be a prisoner than a mindless follower. So
Miss
I'm
Rose,
not going to protest anymore.
Miss Rose, they have a dedicated basement full of people who have been brainwashed. And I don't think
Yes, and
that any of them really deserved any of that. And second of all, I don't think any of them acted... There's a small family with children in that basement getting brainwashed. I doubt the children acted weird. This is the only thing that they know. I don't think that inevitably we're going to end up in that basement. By now they know what we know.
I think that's worth another sanity roll from you to make that deduction as well, and to realize what is your possible fate?
All of us?
Levi, he's the only one who has seen it and knows what the conditions are. It depends on if you believe him. If you believe him, sure, you can roll for sanity. But if this is just the babbling of a madman, you can roll me a d4 for having the idea of A, what you've seen, B, what you realize what they must gone through, and what possibly would be your fate. But, well, at least some gods are with you tonight, indeed, for only 1 point of sanity loss.
Balance.
Yes, let's dwell on that.
While, Jordan Baker, you might have started to consider and trust these words that Levi O'Nolan said. He seemed very convincing, and he seemed to describe the state of the affair very well, as if he's seen that, and if that is true, then it is clear that I end up there too.
This is clearly... if this is the case, this is clearly beyond us, right? That means these people have to be stopped. This is not about escaping. This is about preventing that any of this would happen to anyone.
Ideally, yes.
Yeah, but we cannot stop them if we forget what happens. Even if we are stuck here, if we keep remembering, the worst case, in 5 years, there will be another counting, and we just tell
10.
them. So we
10 years.
Yeah, in 10 years.
10.
What are you suggesting? We just take up a peaceful life of agriculture, and and bring them down with our silent defiance, or what?
I don't know, but the only thing I know is I don't want to lose my mind. I'm playing along.
I don't think that's a long-term plan. I genuinely don't.
No, it's not. But it will hopefully get me tomorrow, and then the sun is out, and I'm definitely more hopeful then, because right now the forest looks very gloomy and scary. And maybe today is, I don't know, maybe they're especially powerful because they're just sacrificed people. And maybe their power wear off when the sun is in the skies. I don't know.
Yes, Mrs. Townsend looked as though she was fully confident that any moment now she was going to be able to get out. Which I think brings me to my other point. The only person that I know around here that is not completely evil and seems to know what's going on is Mrs. Townsend. Although she is a bit crazy.
There was also a loner living in the woods somewhere. I haven't seen him in a while, but I wouldn't exactly call him a trustworthy ally, but
What?
at least he seemed to.
Neither was
have
the
a
old
big
woman.
chance where-
Well, she seemed relatively trustworthy, just...
Insane.
Yes, just insane with fear. And so there's a hermit in the woods that... How did you know that the hermit in the... What did the hermit in the woods say to you? What? Sorry.
Well, I think about it. He babbled basically about exactly all of this. But about
And you
this...
didn't...
And he lives in the woods. That means he doesn't live in town. So he's not bound, right?
He did say that he has a shack in town somewhere.
Okay.
But yeah, he's kind of mostly been, or at least when you've encountered him, in the underbrush around town.
Well then,
What would these people even have us do now? Do we
don't know.
just assume the rooms and clothes of the people who just died and pretend we are them, and everything will be fine? Do we build our own
Probably.
hut?
We've been standing in the middle of the street screaming at each other. We've just been teleported from one end of the town to the other. I think it's perfectly aware right now that we are not locals.
No, I understand that, but they must have some sort of plan here, right? They want us to integrate.
Yeah, you might.
What genders were the sacrificed people?
Male, female, both.
Yeah, but were there 2 males and 1 female, perchance?
I have it somewhere. It's not on my hand right now. It might not add up to the point. I think it was 2 female and 1 male. Well, there were 4 initially, but
Yeah.
right. I actually. Nope, it's in the other one notebook, which is down here.
So to capture us, they had to take a life. The only way.
2-2. Michael
deal
West,
with it.
Spencer Doyle, Alyssa Gray, Catherine Burke.
Okay. So it would make sense in that way. Okay.
How did they even know we were coming?
Maybe they pulled us all off during the night we were in the hotel.
Well, they,
Right.
yeah,
So,
they saw us when we first came, so it could be that they worked out the plan then. Maybe. So they want to capture us, not just keep us away or keep us quiet.
Can you all give me a spot hidden check? Ooh. Success through the bench from a regular to hard to an extreme. You will start to realize that some of the locals standing around are, starting to blend off the festivities. Further down the hall, you can see Susan and Hank still sitting at the porch. Hank sits in the rocking chair, smoking a pipe, drinking a cup of tea or something. Susan is just leaning at one of the pillars, smiling at you with actually a cuppa in her hand. Some of the people down the road are just starting to go to the side and getting a rest, but they're all starting to look at you.
I
Okay,
will head back
observed.
and ask what's on the agenda for us. Or where we are supposed to stay. It's up to you. I don't feel trying, because running away doesn't work, and trying to make a scene is not going to work either in my books. So I'm just, yeah. And I'm starting to walk off back to the main place.
Yeah, as you do, you can see Susan Haggerty putting down her teacup. She walks down from the patio, kind of approaches you on the street. The others, you can just see her kind of like gently putting her arm around her and talking to her. Rose, you see Susan approaching you, and she will be, "Oh dear, I know, the first couple of days are always the most confusing. Now, we have the beds ready for you. you can stay at our place. We have a couple of guest bedrooms upstairs, and we know how it is. It will take some time, but you'll get used to it. And once everything is fine and you're feeling well, then you'll get your own place, and so on. And you'll have your family, and you have your town that will support you, and you support the town, and we all live together, happy. And she just looks at you with this, like, really cringe, creepy fucking ass smile. Yeah.
I probably just give her the exact same smile back.
Yeah. And
probably for different reasons, but...
Yeah, and she kind of just looks at you and says, "Okay, my darling, I know it's been rough. How about I'll show you the rooms, and you can maybe lay down or get some water in your face. Just freshen up a bit. If you don't want, you can go to the market square. You can celebrate and enjoy the festivities. I just know it's difficult in the beginning."
I'm just gonna go and grab a drink for the nerves, and then I will be right back. Give me just like half an hour.
You take your time, darling. Just, you know where we are. And the other two, you see her kind of like letting go of Rose, and she kind of just waves at her as she leaves and nods and smiles, and then turns to you and waves and smiles.
This isn't good.
I mean, I guess it can't hurt to get a night of sleep.
I think I need a drink.
I'm with you there.
Let's get a drink.
Okay. So you go also past Miss Haggerty, and you walk down back to the town festivities where music continues. Levi, you had an extreme success. You can see the people that kind of bowed out for a second start to reintegrate and join the festivities. The moment kind of you join the main square, they contribute with everything, join, but you can clearly see that they are keeping an eye onto you. Like if they dance, they kind of always turn and keep an eye onto you as they move through the crowds. Others just stand behind tables or sit down and play instruments while they kind of keep an eye onto you. But yeah, you can all reconvene and find some place amongst the festivities. Let's one more time go into the dark.
Question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is the sheriff still around, or did he leave?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, he is around. You would see him kind of talking to Mayor Dunbar at one of the tables.
I would ask him for a dance, if you don't mind.
Yeah, okay. You approach him. Mayor Dunbar kind of just smiles at you as you approach, and Sheriff Thompson turns around and is a bit confused initially, but looks at Mayor Dunbar. He just nods, and the two of you are then joining on the dance floor, which is also what the other two can observe, that she approaches the sheriff and starts to dance with him. Yeah, and as the two of you probably go to the next table, where there is the barrel of wine or beer, whatever has a faucet, you probably put your head underneath. And we'll leave you there for a second as Aiden, you follow this man for what seems like a couple of steps. And you enter your rooms. Your rooms in your homestead. There's some light, but it seems like only yesterday that you kind of been there last. Everything is at its place. Everything is at its precise position that you last saw it, that you last put it. And the figure facing you is, still kind of black suit, black tie, black shirt, black trousers, and the head is kind of pulled into his face, casting a shadow just awkwardly enough that his face is never clearly visible. And he kind of motions to that, lounge coffee table just next to the window that you always like to keep a bit open so you can smoke your pipe or whatever. And he motions to sit down, and he takes a seat next to you. And he puts his head, or he removes his hat. And smiling at you is actually a middle-aged man. A bit of a square face, but nothing unusual, you would say. Anyone that you could find at a gentleman's club. He smiles at you and looks at you with a pleasing smile. And it's like, now, Mr. Hamilton. Yes, the voices, yes, minor inconvenience, but they will stop. I can assure you. Jesus Christ. Whew.
All right. Did the voices get quieter when we
Yep, they did.
walked away, kind of? I would have gotten a bottle of whiskey and 2 glasses on the way to the seating area.
Absolutely.
Giving a shot to both of us. So then we are getting to form a contract, I assume.
Absolutely.
I would like to know every detail beforehand,
Every
as lawyers tend to do,
of course,
tend
of course.
to read
Well,
very carefully.
my dear Mr. Hamilton, the main question before any contract can be drawn is more a question about loyalty and trust. Can I trust you? I think so. That's why I've approached you. Can you trust me? I understand your hesitation on that answer. But believe me when I say that it wouldn't be badly placed. My offerings and my gifts that I can bestow upon you are a plenitude of those that others might offer to you. And in return, certain discrete methods must be upheld, but yes, these are minor details that we can chisel out. The more important question is, what is it that you truly seek, that you want to have?
I was born to excel, and I want nothing less. I want to be at the top.
Oh, of course, of course. The top of everything. In public, or rather one that is the puppet master?
I prefer to be more in the back seat, enjoying the work others did. I think we are kind of alike in this part.
Absolutely. I very much understand your intentions here. Is there anything else that you want, that you require, that you need?
Is there not all I could wish for enclosed in this?
Oh, there is so plentiful. Yet, I have to be honest on that point. I will gift you whatever I can. However, it doesn't mean that the world will play to your fiddle as it happens. I can guide and steer elections. I can manipulate people's votes. I can make it so that people like you, that you'll be loved. But if you not play your part in the game, then my gifts are not bearing any fruits. You need to be actively involved. You need to be interested in what you want to achieve, what knowledge you want, what powers you continue to improve.
If I understand you right, I might improve powers you give and nobody else would have. And
certainly.
For everything you have to know, I am very interested in everyone who keeps gifting me such powers. And all of his interests are my interests.
That sounds fantastic. Well, let me draw up a contract. And he just opens his briefcase that he pulls up. And there seems to be like nothing in it, but then he reaches in and he pulls out this endless sheet of paper that is pages after pages after pages after pages after pages. And he pulls it out and puts it there. Now read it carefully. I have this little idea in mind. We'll start to bring you in society through minor clubs, increase your influence, connect you with the world leaders, increase your reach, incorporate your knowledge and your wisdom to others if you wish so. That is totally up to you, but spreading your influence to those that are of need. Because trust me, ruling alone is doable, but it's so much work. And you need the trusted fellow that can run things independently.
Just to know how you can hold them closely in your palm.
That is correct. So yeah, go ahead.
If you have to say something, otherwise I would have said I will start reading carefully.
And you can start reading while the man starts to kind of pull out a little pipe and start smoking as you start reading through the contract, which is written in like the smallest script possible. Each page is filled, obviously, up to the brim. But yeah, it's a long time to read. But you can do a law roll, which hopefully your studies brought you to anything.
Luck? May I spend luck?
You can spend it. You can spend 11 points of luck if you want to make that a regular success, if you think that's enough.
I would.
Okay.
Hope that that's something, yes.
And give me an intelligence roll. Ooh, wonderful. And yeah, you start reading through these papers. Meanwhile, somewhere in Little Creek, the dance is at full spring, And while Charlotte Rose is dancing with the sheriff, a bit stiff first, but he seems to have a good hip, and he's swinging, and he's getting closer and closer to Mrs. Rose, swinging, turning, twisting her around like a young, middle-aged man, although in his probably 50s. Meanwhile, Mr. Baker and Mr. O'Nolan, you at the drinks, and what do you want to do?
Well, I think this is the moment to actually catch a break, get a rest, enjoy a beverage, let it play out. Just catch up with my unlikely new friend O'Nolan.
Absolutely.
That's this.
Levi is going to try and get hold of a bottle of whiskey. And
Easy.
by a bottle, yeah. And he's probably hogging it, to be perfectly honest.
That's alright. Jordan can drink the disgusting wine. That's fine. I guess there's one thing about what Charlotte said that in which there's truth. It could be worse. Keeping our heads down and just playing along and waiting for an opportunity is probably gonna keep us out of harm's way.
I don't know. I don't know what anyone else has ever done. But I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And Levi is just looking at Miss Rose dancing and just getting more and more depressed.
Okay. Miss Rose, you're dancing with this charming elderly fellow. He's kind of smirking at you. Oh, I didn't expect that. I would have prepared myself. Oh dear. And, starts to sweat and say, oh, quite a step you have there, young lady. Don't know that
I am a well-practiced dancer.
Oh, indeed.
May I ask you a question? I assume I'm gonna get a family, and so do I get any say what kind of family? Because, and I'm kind of looking him like up and down. There are definitely some men I would prefer as a husband to others, so I was just asking if there's like any way to get a say on that, or is that just decided for me?
Oh, give me a charm roll here. Oh, yeah. Oh, my dear. Hard success on this. I can assure you, miss, I will, if there's anything you are in need and require, I certainly will put in my word for this. Starts to stutter and sweat even more. You can feel the sweat kind of running down now the back of his shirt as you're dancing. But is there anything else you want to maybe do during the dance?
I'm kind of just trying to distract him with the talk. I'm trying to kind of feel him up and see if I can feel any weapons on him that I could maybe...
We all thought the same. It was just a beautiful way how you did it. Yes, you can do a sleight of hand, and you get an advantage die on that.
Okay.
Okay.
Nope.
You reach around his waist, and that's when you feel it. The hilt of one of the knives stuck into his belt. And the moment you kind of reach for it, you can feel his hand on yours. Now, miss. What's that? What are you trying to do?
I was just curious.
I
Why you got hidden away back then?
It's nothing that should concern you. I think that was enough for a dance. If you excuse me. And he starts to kind of like disengage. If you want, you can still try to grab for the knife and hold on to it.
No.
No?
I would let it slide.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she jumps back and, or not jumps back, but like goes back and disengages and goes over to Mr. Dunbar, whispers something to him, and Deputy Miller kind of comes in close, nods, and in the meantime you see Levi and Jordan raising tankards and glasses somewhere on another table if you want to join them.
Yeah, I'm gonna head over.
Okay. The two of you can
once I'm
roll
out
for
of sight,
Constitution.
there's disappointment.
Ooh. Yeah, both of them
Oh, stuff.
seem to be very, very drunk. It might be the combination of heat, of not eating well and properly at all. But the liquor is getting to them quite heavily. And what they might think is decent and proper behavior reflects to you as maybe disturbing, aggressive growling and yelling at neighboring tables.
I think it might be time for us to head in and get some sleep in.
No,
All right.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
No.
I what was I saying?
We're just in the middle of one thing. Just one
No.
thing that we had to. Then it's gonna be fine. What was the thing? One question: Is the what's his name, Father McBride, also around somewhere?
Give me a group
Or
luck
has he
roll.
not shown up again? Sure, if that's still
Probably
me.
still you.
Yeah, it's probably still you.
Bye. Bye.
The only one spending viciously luck now is
Oh,
by himself somewhere in the ether. Yeah, he's around. He's actually now approaching Mayor Dunbar and Sheriff Thompson and Deputy Miller.
Perfect. Wonderful. Jordan will I want to say get up, stumble in a sort of, leaning sort of upright position and pushes through sheer momentum his way towards these people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Give me a
when he's
listen.
there,
Give me a listen roll while you approach. I feel like that's only fair. It will be with a disadvantage though, because you are drunk. So. Wow, that would have been a critical
Wow.
What a shame.
success. It would have been a critical success,
What
but
a shame.
it is
What
a
a waste.
61 now, which is a
Don't
failure.
drink, kids.
Don't drink and play Call of Cthulhu. No, do,
Hmm.
but do it in levels. And you approach them, realizing they're talking about something, but the words immediately as you hear them just disappear in your mind, and you're like, yeah, my thought was, what exactly? And you approach him.
And when he's there, Jordan will kind of like, he's swaying a bit, but he kind of
Yeah.
straightens himself up as much as possible, kind of attempting a moment to focus on the priest, getting his attention.
He turns
And
around.
What?
He turns around and sees you.
And he has something. Jordan has something to say, but to kind of like underline and begin his sentence, he will attempt to punch McBride in the face. Yes.
Wonderful. Roll for combat.
Yes, it's brawl.
Oh,
I
brawl.
assume.
Sorry, close combat is brawl. Yeah.
Oh. Oh, let that stand.
Yeah. Don't even need
Nope.
the disadvantage roll on that.
Mhm.
Because you just swing and he just like puts his head back. Now, Mr. Baker,
Well,
I think that was unnecessary for that behavior.
you're a slippery bastard. But my point, I think I'm making my point. You could have just told us. You could have just said anything at any point. Instead of all this trickery and subterfuge and murder. Listen, you might think you've got us wherever you wanted, whatever sick, twisted thing you're having going on here. But don't think for 1 second we're not having our eyes on you. And as if this was threatening, he will like stumble back to his table.
You can see a couple of villagers kind of trying to push past him, like trying to get to you, but Father McBride kind of just puts his hand to your side. It's fine. Let him go. And he looks at you. I apologize, my dear child, but I have the hope that we can reconcile at some point in the future.
You better be careful. You better not murder anyone else while we're here.
I haven't murdered anyone.
Grumble, grumble, matter of opinion, grumble, grumble.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, later Jordan will think of a very witty and smart reply to this. Right now he's
3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. He just feels humiliated and but also it's kind of on his way.
Yeah.
Levi is just going like, you both have very different ideas of lying low than me.
I was just dancing.
You tried to pick his pocket, and he tried to swing at him. I didn't do anything.
Awesome. You get a star for that. The teacher will be very proud of you. Now, off to bed.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah. Put that away. And I'm just taking the whiskey bottle and put it on the table.
No. I'm keeping that.
Okay.
I need your brain tomorrow. And with that, there's not going to be much left.
We might also need something sharp, and this is the closest thing to it.
Can't argue with that. But don't drink anymore.
No, of course I won't. Not a drop will pass my lips.
And
I'll take your word for it.
where do you head?
To Susan and Hex?
Yeah, to Haggerty's place. And yeah, the two of them. Hank is still on the porch in the rocking chair, smoking his pipe. You can all roll for spot hidden, but besides Charlotte, the two of you get disadvantage because you are pretty shit-faced right now.
Hey!
Jordan makes it.
I don't know what you people have.
It's natural to you.
Jordan, despite
It's
being
like a
drunk,
raccoon.
or maybe not even drunk, but like, you know, the right amount, you realize that Hank seems to be on edge, seems to be uneasy. He seems to be actually frightened. And the way you look at him, and there's just this moment of when you enter the house, it's almost like he's trying to tell you something, but he doesn't know how. And he just turns away from you, but like in this very like unfound reaction. Like, I don't want to see this.
When Jordan like walks by him and stands, like goes inside, he like pauses a moment, standing in the door frame, and kind of lets his shoulders hang. It just mumbles just loud enough that Hank can hear it. I know. And then walks inside.
Yeah. Susan, in the meantime, continues to babble about how they just renovated and how beautiful the new wallpapers are, and that they just redecorated this room. And she goes upstairs and shows you kind of the landing and the 3 bedrooms, which would look nice guest bedrooms, nothing out of the ordinary. And yeah, have a comfy bed, a small cupboard side table, and a nightlight. That's about it. And you can enter the room and probably plop down on the bed.
I guess. Why not? What's the worst that can... Oh, no, wait. Well,
What about Rose, Levi?
Yeah, I would probably help you up the stairs. Are you
Levi-
going to be okay?
Helping me up the stairs or Baker up the stairs?
No, I think you. I don't know.
Oh,
How
yeah.
how good can you handle
Either seems like a good candidate.
But I don't know if I can carry Baker. So
No, yeah, that's a true point.
Well,
usually it might not.
I'm going. I want a cigarette. I'm going to go outside
Wow.
and I'm going to have a cigarette. I don't often have a cigarette. I feel that I can allow myself to have a cigarette tonight.
Okay, so you go down.
sure.
So
I'll stay down. Keep an eye on him.
You stay outside with him.
And no, I would like stay inside. But
in
kind of
in
I
your
don't-
room, or
No, downstairs.
okay, where you will have
Yeah.
Susan basically talking your ear off about the latest farming things, the latest gossip she heard about Little Creek and who did what and when and why. Yeah, and Jordan, you plump on the bed and fall asleep.
Jordan like attempts to stay awake. I'm not sure how successful he will be. Like he isn't like taking any steps to keeping himself awake, but he's Like, at least for the longest time, just staring at the ceiling and listening into the darkness.
You can roll me a Constitution roll once more.
Sure. No.
Yeah, you hit the pillow and you think you're gonna stare at the ceiling when everything goes black. Out on the patio, Hank is sitting in his rocking chair. Levi, you come outside. What do you say? What do you do?
Have you got a light?
He just offers you a box of matches.
Thank you. Don't suppose you've got a car, shotgun, anything like that as well?
He turns his head towards you. And he's like awkward smiling at you and nods his head. And give me a listen roll.
Oh.
Okay. That'll come in a moment. But
Well, it was worth trying, wasn't it? And I give him back his matches. After I've lit my cigarette.
he looks at you. You should have left. You should have left while you still can. While you still could. While there was a chance. I'm sorry,
Well, we tried. But it was a bit too late.
He kind of looks to the side. And his face gets terrified. Inside, Rose, you're talking to Susan, and she describes the cutlery set that she just got from her blah blah blah, how beautiful it is, and that she found a new recipe for lemon chicken or something. What do you do?
I'm keeping just like half an eye out and just politely not listening to her nodding, being like, "Oh, lovely! That sounds delicious. You should teach me that at some point."
Absolutely. You know what? I have this good herbal tea here too. We've been just drinking the whole night. Do you want some too? I'm sorry. I realize I haven't offered you anything at all.
I'm actually good. I think I already had enough. But
a good herbal tea will just
a tea
calm your
would be
stomach.
nice.
Yeah, that's what I
Yes.
meant. A herbal tea.
Perfect.
The one that we've been drinking, and she goes over in the kitchen and pours you a cup. And she comes back and hands you a cup. So, tell me, how is it in the city and this wildlife that we hear about?
I mean, it's fast, it's exciting, but it can be a little bit exhausting. So I suppose this has its upsides being out here. I assume you've been born here since like everyone else, right?
She just chuckles. Are you going to drink the tea, by the way? This is narrative. This
yeah.
just... Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
She kind of just smiles at you and nods, and it's like, oh yeah, I mean, I've come actually from the family of Haggertys, and she starts to describe like how the Haggerty family has been here for like centuries and done certain types of farming and taught the village about like certain crop rotations. And you can give me a constitution roll. Oh, with disadvantage, by the way. Sorry. Need to say that out loud.
Okay.
Okay, the first one was a failure. And the second one is a failure.
Can I spend... Wait, the first one was a success.
Yeah, well, yes, the first
the
one was a success, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I spend 2 luck to make it a success?
Yes, you can.
I will do so.
You realize while she's talking that your vision starts to fade, and you have enough time to look at the teacup where you can see some sort of white powdery residue in the bottom of the teacup, and you
Just
feel
look
kind
up,
of the noises around you start to dull, the vision start to fade, everything starts to flimmer, and she's like, and see, and that's why you shouldn't do a pea and a cucumber field next to each other. Are you not feeling all right? Is everything okay?
Why are you doing this to me? I'm kind of just grabbing something nearby, trying to stay upright.
Yeah, you
Why? Just tell me why.
Because we can't trust you yet. You might still have the fever and you need to be cured. You're not cured yet. And you get up, you drop. For what you reach is cutlery and minor trinkets that fall to the ground. And that's the moment outside, Levi, that you hear the commotion inside. Something drops. First a teacup, then multiple items.
Turn around, go straight in.
Okay. Yeah.
In a hurry.
Yeah, you go inside and you see just Rose kind of getting up. She stumbles and she's kind of falling forward. Susan kind of reaches for her and tries to kind of support her and gently kind of puts her down.
I'm running
Don't
over.
touch me.
Yeah, you hear that before she slowly fades out.
Okay. I'm drunk and I'm pissed.
Yeah.
I'm now going to start screaming, "What the hell have you done?"
Okay.
At Susan.
She kind of gets up and says, she didn't feel right. She suddenly just collapsed. I don't know. I tried to support.
I didn't. Don't play that with me. What precisely did you do?
And she steps back and like kind of tries to get away from you. Give me a listen roll. No, not a listen roll. Sorry, a spot hidden roll.
Oof. Just too much.
That's a failure. And you approach her as she backs off into the kitchen. She's like, I didn't do anything. She just didn't feel right. She just wasn't feeling well, and then all of a sudden she just collapsed, and she said, I didn't do anything. I don't know what.
Is she lying? Well, I mean, it almost doesn't matter. I'm just going like, I know that you did something. What possesses you in your mind to just do that to somebody in your own house?
She suddenly straightens up. She seems much more confident. She looks at you and she smiles. Because it's my job. It's my duty. I think it's time, boys. And you're just in time when you turn around and two hulks of the man that you've seen at Dr. Wentworth's office are behind you. You can give me a dex roll with disadvantage. Oish. Okay, so the first one is already a failure. When you turn your head and you see these two hulking mans behind you, you just feel something sharp pinching your neck. And suddenly your feet get wobbly. Everything gets wobbly around you. And something about this certainly doesn't feel right, but you are lulling away into blissful sleep. In Aiden Hamilton's room, Mr. X tips off his now smoked cigarette or pipe. Now, Mr. Hamilton, are we satisfied? The contract seems pretty straightforward. They're minor kind of dependencies that you yada yada swear allegiance to him in case of disputes, that his order will be followed, no questions asked. Sometimes they might lead to immoral questions. However, you will be remedied the fact due to your position from any legal ramifications to it.
If everything sounds good, let's say in favor of the intentions my character has, then I think Aiden would look up when he finishes the never-ending parchment he has, with a slight smile, waiting for his business partner to also look up.
Yeah, he does. Yes.
I think this will satisfy both of us.
I thought as much. My dear friend. May I call you friend?
Of course. Friends, partner.
He reaches into his coat pocket, reaches you a pen. Black pen, of course. Black ink.
What else?
Of course.
And Aiden is his signature already on the paper?
No, there's an empty spot for you to sign.
Before I forget it, was there any mentioning of who he is? Any name or position, or
Yeah, it
gives me a better idea?
It would refer to you, identifying you personally through either date of birth or name or location where you've been. There would be a clear indication that you signing this contract is you are.
No, I mean him of my Mr. X.
The counterpart. No, there's no mentioning of him.
All right. Other than like the party or something.
Yeah,
the contract, whatever.
The legalese and. Yeah.
All right. Then, yeah, I would sign.
Good. And you sign, and he takes back the pen, and he shakes your hand, or reaches out. As he does, you can feel, like in that handshake, when the two hands reach, there's something emerging from his hand that twists around your hand, reaches up, twirls around your forearm, up to your, whatever that is, upper arm. And you feel it kind of going underneath your skin. It itches a lot. But you look at it, it just seems like a black blob for a second. And then it disappears. And he looks at you and says, well, this is the subclass about defiance. Just, minor detail, as long as we're all on par and we all understand any discrepancies, I think we're fine. Now, I think you understand that with all of the given paperwork, and he kind of shuffles all these hundreds and hundreds of papers together, that the events of Little Creek will be kept as they have been in the past. We've put forth a preliminary expose for you to sign to kind of mask the events as they transpired. And he hands you like various manila envelopes from his suitcase that is empty, but he puts stuff out there. And he hands it to you, which is like reports from Jordan, it's reports from Levi and from Rose, detailed about like, oh yeah, we didn't find anything, yada yada yada. And he hands it to you and says, when I took the liberty, one of my associates is currently preoccupied with one of the things, but how do you feel about moving to the northwest of Boston? An associate of mine just established the Hermetic Order of the Silver Twilight, and he's looking for good people to kind of work there. And I think you would be just the right fit to manage that place for the time being.
Sounds like a good place to start.
I agree. And he just smiles at you with this like glorious smile. You smile back, but the moment you smile, you realize there's something more in you. There is something deeper. There is something more powerful that runs through your veins than before. You feel enlightened. Your knowledge about the universe, the true cause and cause and effect of everything that is happening now suddenly becomes clear. All of these minor disputes, politics and social constructs are but a game of higher powers, and you're now one of the players, one of the keepers of the game that move the pawns yourself. And as you realize this, you smile and you wake up in that little bed in the historic inn hotel the next morning. The birds are chirping and it's quite pleasant. Sun is out. There's a gentle breeze through the window. You feel your arm is a bit itchy, but otherwise you feel more than fine. You feel really, really good. And as you wake up, somewhere a couple miles north, in a basement, in absolute darkness, 3 other members of the party wake up. It's cold, it's a bit dusty. You all hear a bit of commotion going on somewhere. There's a bit of almost like scratching noise, you would say, for a while. It takes a while until you truly understand what it is that makes that noise, but it sounds like fingernails on stone. An echo kind of around you. And then the lights start to flicker. Footsteps. are being heard coming down a staircase. A staircase, Levi, you've heard before the creaking of it, the sound it makes as you walked it down yourself. And suddenly, this hushed and muffled sound becomes more clear. I am Gerald Barlow. I love my wife Celeste. We have been married. And it slowly fades into black as the lights in your room start to flicker on. And you look around you in this beautiful living room with 3 more beds that are yet empty. And that's the end for Welcome to Little Creek. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you had fun. There's much more to this story, but I thought this is the dramatic end that I want to encounter my players to, and I hope they had fun too. And if you want to read more, the scenario is now available on Drivethrurpg. And yeah, if you have any feedback or want to know more, please contact me or let me know if you have any questions. I want to say a very special thank you for Charlotte Rose, LK, for James, Levi O'Nolan, Valle, who played Jordan Baker, and for Steffi, who played, or Seikatsu, who played Aiden Hamilton. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy that little quiet town of Little Creek for quite a while. And